maybe.
Shall we start? Okay.
Hello, good morning. Good
Hello from Greece.
from Greece.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
So nice you're a group and all. Oh, nice. Welcome. So this is an activity that is part of the Ocean Literacy Festival. We were invited to start the event, I guess. And there will be many other activities along the day until lunchtime, until the afternoon. And I am Mariana. I work for Geonardo Environmental Technologies. And I organized this session with Thibaut from Surfrider. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Mariana. So I'm Thibaut, working for Surfrider Foundation Europe for the ocean protection, and based in Marseille, and glad to organize this early morning session. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Pascal, also for being there. And giving you the mic, Pascal, to introduce yourself as well.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Pascal. I directed this short, which you've seen in a minute, called The Beauty, and it's about a poetic and ironic journey through a plastic world underwater. And yeah, I studied. The film is about the film I developed in my study at the Film Academy Baden-Württemberg in Germany. It's my graduation film, and I worked almost 2 years in it, and now it's online everywhere in the internet. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, with no further ado, then let me jump to the screening.
I hear it.
Go on. Dive in. Forget about it. Think about thriving. At least for a bit. There are good sides to it. Don't despair. It lasts forever. Here. Now. And everywhere. It's light, solid, and viable. And even on its own, it's viable. From the bottoms of the sea to the blossoms of a tree. Every creature's free. And so are we. Everything's fine. No bother. Think about the earth. The wind. And the water. Don't be silly. It's not our duty. So we better quietly enjoy this. Beauty.
This is amazing. I've watched it like 5 times. And,
Thank you.
I love it every single time. I would suggest in that case that we invert the roles. And why don't you, Pascal, tell us more about a bit about the process and about what you wanted to convey, and what do you think about this whole plastic issue, and then we can follow up with the discussion we had planned.
Yeah, sure. Well, I started with the idea of the beauty in 2018, late 2017, and I always see these pictures from Honduras or from the Philippines, and these pictures are they're shocking, but not that shocking anymore. You see them and it's like, oh, okay, it's polluted. So and every time when I have to say I live in Switzerland, or I lived in Germany and Switzerland, quite far away from the ocean, and also the whole topic was far away from me, but I'm a kind of a nature guy. I always be in the mountain and climbing and so on. And for me, it would be like the worst thing having the mountains or the forests polluted like they are on the beaches and stuff. So my thought was make a little sign from far away from the ocean to the outside, and flag a little flag to point on the topic. Yeah, so when I started with one drawing, there was a stingray with a flip-flop leash on the back, and then like my whole class at the film academy was quite touched from this drawing, and I continued with other characters which ended up in the film, which you've seen before. And then I had these characters, but I needed to find a story for them, and I was thinking about a love story or kind of a hero journey or something. But in the end, the concept was, shoot the stuff like in a BBC documentary, that you actually see those creatures living in their environments. And I was asking myself, why not shooting a documentary about how it will be when plastic will be integrated into the ocean. And yeah, and it's basically that's the idea. And we went to shoot the stuff. Well, was a pre-production was 1 year. Modeling all these creatures and do all the storyboard and the animatic and doing the poem stuff. And then we went diving. We shot all these plates in the backgrounds, and we went also to France, to Saint-Malo, to shoot the trash in the back. And there's a funny fact, well, it's not that funny. It's just because that was we've been there in Saint-Malo, and the plan was to shoot this plastic scene in this natural pool outside of Saint-Malo, because when the high tide comes, the pool gets floated, and then when the low tide comes, like there's still water in the pool, you have little waves, you have no reflection, so it was perfect for us to shoot this stuff and extend this afterwards in CG. And for this trash, we walked just a few miles down the coast, and we collected this trash, and within 10 minutes we had all the trash we needed, and we nailed it all together to a little island. Nothing got lost and stuff. But there I realized, okay, it's even here in Europe or in France, it's not polluted everywhere, but it's there, and it's everywhere. And so was also a good motivation to do this film. And yeah, and so we finished that film end of 2019, and since then it was through the whole festival seasons, and a lot of festivals was screened the beauty. And yeah, now it's online, and hope a lot of people will share it, and hope my little sign will reach there out somehow.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, it is so true what you're saying, because it doesn't happen only with trash. It happened with COVID. It happens with wars, with everything. No, it's like, oh, we know how terrible it is, but it's out there. No, it's like we don't see it as much as a problem until it's on our face, literally. Like we're seeing it there. So yeah, it's crazy, because in Europe, like you can find a lot of trash, but like you said, it's like still a bit hidden and still a bit, a bit here, a bit there. It's not like these huge pools of trash in the ocean like it happens in some parts of Asia, no? But like you're saying, it's
because
true.
we influenced what happened on the coast, even far away from
absolutely Europe. No, absolutely. No. And like you said, I mean, it took you 10 minutes to build a whole island of trash. I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy short amount of time. But what I really love about your film, it's the calm music, the beautiful landscape of how, and the title says it, no? Like if something it's so beautiful, like in the BBC, exactly, and then it's everything trash. It's great.
That was my, that our feeling of guilt that we actually have when we see this picture, that these feelings will leave for a moment. So it's sort of, keeping your breath, go diving, see all this nature, and come up again, and you're back in the reality. That's basically the thing that I wanted to show.
Yeah, no, you managed. I'm going to say you managed. So I see someone else joined. Despina, welcome. We just screened the movie, but I will put the link in the chat for you to check it out later, because it is something very worth checking out. And should we open the mic then? Eve's Greek women, I don't know all your names. Despina. Yeah, we had like some questions.
Okay, go.
It's me, Effie.
Okay.
Helen, I am Helen.
Helen.
And Christina.
Christina, Helen, and Effie. Hi.
We are teachers from a school. Senior high school of Amphusa near Athens.
Okay, nice.
And we for the last 10 years, we make environmental programs in our schools, and one topic of them is plastic. Is plastic in the ocean. For 5 years, 20 17, we had such a subject, and we continue.
That is really nice. That is really nice. Showing.
We go to the beaches with our pupils, and we clear beaches. We are discussing. We are visiting the oceanographic institute.
Hellenic, it's a Hellenic
center research. Yeah.
So we are very. I can speak in French also, because I am a teacher of French. I saw that you have a French from Marseille là.
Yeah, Thibaut can be the translator. I don't speak French.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, donc on est bien sensibilisés sur le sujet, et surtout grâce à notre prof Effie qui est géologue. Ici c'est notre principale, Christine c'est la principale du collège. Et oui, voilà.
Let me traduce.
ça nous intéresse beaucoup le sujet. Voilà.
Okay, so they are very sensitized to this subject. Effie is a geolog, and there is also the director from their institute. Yeah, they're very implied and very glad to be here and to discuss with us.
Great.
We are very sentimental with environmental issues, and now we are dealing with a project to have our school at Blue School at the European Commission. We're making that program. That's why now we are at near the beach, watching the sea.
Find the fishers. We will find the fishers.
We will visit the port, fishermen, talk about seafood, how we collect,
And the pollution.
and the pollution. We have another project today.
We are in an activity now.
Yes.
Nice.
And you are our activity too.
That is great. That is great. And I love your passion for teaching and the ocean and taking the kids. It's very contagious. So congratulations for that.
Congratulations for you for this activity.
Thank
It
you.
was very nice. This short animation. We wait something longer animation next time.
Pascal,
Tell
you
to
know what you
Pascal.
need to do.
Yeah, another 4 years.
We don't hear you very good because we are outside, and because of COVID, we can't be inside the cafe here. So we are outside and we have much noise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm leaving the link in the chat for everyone to watch it again and share it, maybe to show to the kids. I think it would be a good activity to do with them. Yves, can we go with you? Could you introduce yourself a bit?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Yves. I'm very concerned by plastic and ocean because I'm living in Biarritz, which is next to the Basque Coast in France. I try to see the ocean every day because it's part of what I like. And each time I can walk on the beach, of course, I've collected trash and specifically plastic. And for me, plastic is the worst thing that happened now to our modern society and our way of consuming. Sorry, I missed the movie. I wake up a little bit too late, but I will look at it online. And for sure, what I'm concerned by is the plastic. There's the big trash that you can collect on beach, but there's also the microplastic, and this you cannot collect, and that's the worst thing because this is staying for life in our oceans, and there's no way we can get rid of it. Well, there's only one way is to stop producing plastic, but we're not yet there.
Yeah.
But bravo for this initiative, and I'm really supporting that.
Thank you. No, and it's true. I mean, microplastics now we can even find it in the tap water. There are studies that say that we already have certain percentage of microplastics inside us. Like there is no easy way back from that point. And if do you work? Is your work related to the ocean? Just as a
Yes, not at all. I have the best work in life, which is to be retired.
Amazing.
Nice.
That's everyone's goal to get there.
I hope for you guys.
So congratulations.
It's going to be not easy for you.
Yeah, not easy at all.
No, that's the good part of my life now is that really I can focus on what I want. I really master my agenda. I'm the only master of my agenda. In fact, I do what I have to do and what I want to do. So it's great.
Amazing. Congrats. Then you can do a lot for the ocean in that free time.
I'm doing it. I'm part of an NGO and I'm working for that.
Good.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Despina, can we open the mic for you now, just to introduce yourself a bit? There you go.
And I'm really sorry I missed the screening.
Don't worry.
But I'm going to see it. Yeah. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Where are you coming from?
Yeah, I can't say much about the screening.
Don't worry. Where are you from?
Yeah, I come from Greece. From Athens.
Hello.
Good.
That's great. Do you work related to the ocean?
Yeah, well, I'm actually a designer by profession, but because I thought that we need to rethink what is the role of designer, and I got very sensitized on what is the role in comparison to the environment and why we have caused all this environmental crisis that now we are facing, but it didn't came out of the blue, because when you accumulate material, it will come at some point. It's just that when you don't know when it will come and how it will come. So now I'm studying ecology and conservation of biodiversity because I wanted to understand what is happening, and what are all the links that lead to what we need to face today. And I've been volunteering with a GN Rebreath. It's an organization that collects plastic from the ocean, and I've been volunteering mostly, but also working not only on the area of the sea. Yeah, but I think that as a whole is something that because it's not just the sea actually. It's interesting because now we have some classes and we also study what is the effect on the inside waters, such as lakes and rivers. And there the problem is also big because there you don't have a way to escape. It's a closed topic. It has barriers, and there you see it in a different way. For example, you see it as with eutrophic waters, like you have a lot of cyanobacteria, for example, that they accumulate, and then you have waters that can no longer offer oxygen for the fish or for the other kinds of lives. So yeah, I think it's a big problem, and I think approaching it from different disciplines and different sides is always good because we can all of us contribute in a different way. So yeah, it's really good that there are people who are showing this, because we are kind of studying and we can see it on field, but we can see up to a specific point, and seeing the bigger scale and image, I think it's always important. We are not just us, we are just a small piece in a big world. So yeah, thank you for
absolutely. No, and you're right. I mean, in rivers and lakes and so on, it's also a big problem. But also, I mean, 80% of the plastic found in the ocean comes from land. So it finds its way through rivers, and until it reaches the ocean. So it is a big problem. And you, with like that background of design and, now with ecology and so on, that's a good mix, because that's now like where the world wants to head, or at least says it wants to head, which is the circular economy. So like move the way of thinking, and what we produce, after it gets used, instead of getting discarded, it gets reused again. So it's a circle instead of a linear way of production. So absolutely, that is something very important. And before we jump to some other questions, I see Jan join. Jan, do you want to introduce yourself? Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
That's perfect. I'm not bad. It's kind of a busy time of the year for us because we're working on a project with the Ministry of Sports, the French ministry. And we have the conference on Tuesday and Wednesday, so there is no weekend for me at all. But
that's what Yves enjoys right now. We have here Yves, a participant who is retired, and he really made us all jealous of the amount of time he has for doing cool stuff he loves. So yeah, and
Yes.
Jan, he's also from Surfrider. Jan.
Exactly. Yes, I'm working for Surfrider for the past 5 years, and I'm working on sports and youth programs, and most notably the ocean and literacy questions at the EU level. So that's pretty much where I belong now, doing meetings and having ties and shirts, and preparing on how we can give like the tools, the right knowledge to the citizens, so they can actually they can actually spread the word, and then try to defend the ocean and the aquatic environments as much as they can. So I think for us it's really important, to share, to give access to all the people on all and why we're trying every day to protect this environment.
Yes, thank you for that. I know Thibaut has a question for Pascal, so we can open the mic back to him.
Yes, thank you, Mariana. After the movie, when you shared the history and the fun fact, which was not so fun.
Yeah.
It seemed that you realized that the problem was here in our European countries, and I was wondering what effect it had on you. Did you change something in your everyday life after that fun fact and after doing the movie? What changed for you?
Well, I mean, before I did the movie, I'm a vegetarian, and I try to travel as much as I can by train or by bicycle, stuff like that. I take care of. And after I did the film, you have you meet people who are actively fight against this issue. And yeah, for now, for example, I just changed my everyday's life. For example, when I go to the supermarket or when I'm showering, and I really looked at that. I have blocks instead of bottles, or shampoo without any microplastic and stuff like this. And but I'm not an activist. I'm not go to people and charge them for their behavings. But yeah, but being surrounded by this topic for 2 years or more, it's you're reading this news and you're reading, oh, there's another whale stranding on a beach and full of plastic, and there are microplastic everywhere in the Arctic and wherever. So yeah, it's. I mean, I think for me, I don't know the facts, but for me, I think this is the right or one of the solutions, just changing your behavior in everyday's life, and having it's just like if I'm working in Zurich and we order something at lunch, I mean, it's so easy, just phone, yes, pick it up, and you have like a bag full of plastic, and instead of that you go there and bring your own stuff. But in a global view, I don't know if this is really forces the solution as that much as is it needed. You know what I want to say? Because I think the problem is way bigger than that. Everybody just reduces straws or whatever. I don't know. Maybe somebody has a point of view from a scientist's point of view, or I don't know. It's just like behaving is like a behavior of reducing plastic. It's kind of a thing what we can do.
Yeah. No, and it's very scary because I mean, when you check the recycling rates in Europe, only like we feel like we're doing good because we have recycle bins that doesn't exist in other parts of the world. And then we think like, okay, I separated my plastic and I put it in the recycling bin, so it should be okay. But in Europe, only 30% of what we put in the recycling bin that's actually recycled. The other 30% gets in the landfill and the other burned. So it's really, really bad. And when you see, for example, the World Economic Forum says that it's expected to double the plastic production in 20 years and then quadruple by 2050. So it's just getting very scary. And like what you said, even if we reduce, our amount of plastic or try to be a bit more conscious about it, we sometimes just don't have an option. Like when you go to the groceries and there are things that are unnecessarily wrapped in plastic, or the items we buy for our everyday life. It is insane, because if we think about it, plastic is also relatively new, like some generations ago, there was not such a thing. So
yeah, the funny thing is, all these no plastic shops that they're gonna pop up everywhere. It's like just a very old school system to sell and buy stuff. It's not new. It's just like how they sell stuff from 45, 50 years ago.
Exactly.
And now it's hip.
It's like I heard once, and I really love the idea, because it speaks about a whole era. No, it's bring back the milkman. I mean, it is true. It's like a few generations ago, the way it was working. We just need to go back there. Does anyone have any other questions? Yes.
May we tell something?
Because we have to.
We think all together that reduce plastic materials is more important than recycling, because recycling need energy. The most important is reduce the plastic materials and reuse them. At the end is recycling. We must do something all together to use or not to buy things that they have a lot of plastic materials.
Yes, exactly. Avoiding before recycling.
Yes, this. Okay. The video. How can we have this animation? Can we have this to show it to the pupils?
Yes,
to our pupils.
I sent the link in the chat of this Zoom. So you have it there in the chat already.
The chat. We have to leave. We have to leave, sorry, to go on our project, okay? Thank you very much.
If not, just type the beauty in Vimeo and you will find it.
Okay.
This is the site.
And we wait the next your activity. Okay.
Thank you. Good luck with your activity.
In order to hear you better, we'll have. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you for the enthusiasm.
Well, you girl, where are you from? Where are you from?
Who?
You.
All of us. Me? I'm from Mexico, but live in Portugal.
We think about it.
Yeah?
Love you. We love you.
Bye. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Oh, that's great. I bet they're doing great stuff with their kids with that enthusiasm. Okay, does anyone else have any comment or question before we close the session?
I'm just was wondering what Surfriders do. Like, do you have programs like education-wise in schools, and you do beach cleanups, or what's your main thing against plastic pollution, or what's your, where are you all fighting against plastic? That's what it is.
That's a wide question. who are fighting with citizens, who are fighting with and against companies, and who are fighting with and against states, Europe, and so on. So fighting at every levels of actions.
Yeah.
So make people aware, enable companies to change their productions, and also lobbying for new laws to protect the environment and the ocean.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So for example, I also belong to Surfrider, but not Europe, a chapter in Porto, in Surfrider Porto. And in our case, we have different initiatives that we carry out. The most important one is clean water, where we sample the water of the most visited beaches. And then we're publishing that every week in our website because it's been insane. We've been finding Escherichia coli, for example, 809 times above the threshold, allowed threshold. So, and this is not announced by authorities or by anyone, you know, and people are getting infections, people are getting, so like we are in that sense pushing for the industry to be held accountable for their actions. And this is not related to plastic, this is related to untreated wastewater. But I mean, it's still something very important that is polluting the ocean. We also have the Surfrider Porto Night Out, where we, now because of the pandemic, it stopped. But we have deals with some bars and so on, and we make film sessions. So actually, we should put yours next.
Cool.
And then that usually brings a lot of people together. So we're planning to start that in a couple, maybe in summer. So and all those films we screen are related to ocean awareness and to water sports. And we also support different initiatives that are locally. For example, there was a big one against the extension of jetty that they wanted to extend by 200 meters, and that was going to have a lot of ecological impact. So we joined that initiative and we gave a lot of voice to that. So that's more or less what we do in Porto. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very good to having people who are actively fight against this issue. And I mean, I did this film, and I'm here far away, and of course I'm aware of everything, and then I talk about this issue, and but I'm not writing companies, how dare you, and stuff. But and that's why I have a huge respect for.
No, and it's great. And so one person cannot do it all. I mean, that's why it's really important to create, you know, a community. And I really love getting inspired by all the different, you know, like your film. I mean, I think it's great. And, you know, other types of activities or people doing stuff.
Yeah, I spoke recently to a scientist, and she's working in she's like developing packaging, like sustainable packaging. And she also said that, you know, you need both ways. You know, you need art to kind of reduce the topic to a viewer, and the other side, you know, changing the science behind plastic packaging, and how we gonna wrap everything up in the supermarket, and, you know, people that are writing the governments and the companies, and, you know, that. But I don't know, in my point of view, I think there's a lot changing right now. I mean, if I talk to very young people in school, in high school, and so they kind of, you know, not depressing about the future, but you know, they aware about what's happening in future, and so it's in the DNA of them that they need to behave other than we did before, or our parents or whatever.
Yeah, that is great. But like you said, I mean, we have to have options. So science really needs to push for making it happen, because we can be aware, but if we don't have an alternative to use, then we cannot change. And the best thing is to make it trendy, because then, you know, if it's more trendy to buy, you know, I don't know, to go back to repairing your clothes and not using, you know, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna make the change faster.
Yeah.
Deal with social animals following social rules. So
yeah, and if I can react to that trendy thing, it's something that I'm slowly realizing, and I don't like it, but it's the truth, is we are just doing marketing for something that we value a lot, like saving the environment, but it's basically it. And if only we had the same power than the big company and so on to do some advertising in a good way, but it's advertising for our cause, it would change a lot.
Yeah.
That's it. But we don't have such power. It's changing, but
yeah, it should be changing more.
yeah, and that's not the problem. The problem is also that many companies are doing greenwashing and using all the words and taking on the wave just to sell themselves, and then you realize they're actually not being, you know, environmentally friendly at all. You know, that is the problem, because then that's also taking hope out of people of like, okay, how should I trust, you know, this or that? Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And I think that in Europe or in America, we can speak more of like we have choices and we have the knowledge to do it.
Yeah.
But I've been to Nepal for 3 months volunteering, and if you go to the rural sides, you just see cows walking on the street with small plastic bags of noodles. And this is not from Nepal, because in Nepal they used to eat in these beautiful leaf plates, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a matter of what we do, because we can do. We have the technology, we have the people, but we are speaking about a problem that has no boundaries, because Earth has no boundaries. And we're speaking about inequalities in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of everything. So I think it's a bit more complicated than ourselves saying that we are changing our lifestyle. And I think educating young people is really important, because they live in a different world that we gave them. I don't consider myself really young, they're really old, so but I was part of that, because I grew in this mentality.
Yeah, that's what I said with, you know, changing our behavior is just a drop on a hot stone. We said in German, it's you know, that we have the choices to change our lifestyle. It's like the same thing with, you know, in Seaspiracy, they say, it's just don't eat fish, but you know, a lot of people
nations and
they related to, you know, fish for their incomes and proteins, whatever. It's, I mean, we can discuss this for another 4 hours. And all crying together.
I know, I just have one comment on all that, and I will stop, because I could have, as you say, many more comments, but one important one. I think that even though, we always say the kids are the future, they are the ones that we need to educate, they are the ones that are going to change the behavior. Like, okay, even if that is true, I feel like that is like dropping the ball to the next generation, and like they will solve it the way they dropped it to us, you know? So I feel that shouldn't stop us from doing the best we can to change things back to previous dates. That's it. With this, I will close. Anyone else has something to say? Or a comment before I close?
I had just a recent experience with another scientist. I had a Zoom call with him, and he was sitting in the Maldives on the beach because he's biologist and was, you know, he's doing work at the coral reefs. And I was also like, well, this whole issue thing, we fucked up and the whole world is gonna end soon and blah blah blah. And he's like, no, you don't have to think like that. You have to be optimistic. I know it's a little bit dark at the horizon, but there's sun somewhere. And he's right, you know, just don't put the head in the sand, and it's just like do something against it. Otherwise, it's
absolutely. I tend to put the head in the sand as well. And then I remind myself like, okay, if Sylvia Earle, who, you know, this ocean explorer, pioneer as a woman in ocean science, she saw the world when it was beautiful and plenty, and, you know, and she's still hopeful. It's like, okay, and she's seen worse changes than I've seen. Like, I need to keep myself hopeful. Yeah, because without hope, you know, we're not going anywhere. So yeah. Okay, someone else just joined. Welcome. We're just about to close the session, Silk, but I added the link to the movie in the chat. Otherwise, looked it in Vimeo as The Beauty, and don't miss it because it's amazing. And thank you everyone for having joined, for having participated in the discussion very actively. That is very encouraging. And thank you, Pascal, again for accepting joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Super interesting, and we'll promote your video more. And thank you, Thibaut and Jan, for the support. And if does anyone have anything else to say? Otherwise, we close here.
We have to say thank you to you, Mariana, for organizing it.
Yes, thanks, Mariana.
No worries. There's a message. Obrigado por organizar en edição. Nada. Tá bom. Okay. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Thanks again.
Ciao.
See you around.
Have a nice weekend.
Ciao, Mariana.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Pascal, again. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.